Okay, let's get right into it. If you or someone you know has just been arrested for violating a domestic violence protective order, these next few hours are, well, they're absolutely critical. We're going to walk through exactly what that charge means, what happens right after the arrest, and why every single choice from this point forward really matters.
We have to start right here, because this is probably the single biggest misunderstanding about protective orders. This quote says it all. It doesn't matter if the protected person called you, or texted you, or even invited you over. The only one who can change or cancel a court order is a judge. That's it. There are literally zero exceptions, and not getting this is exactly what lands so many people in a jail cell.
All right, so what are we actually dealing with here? Legally, this is classified as a misdemeanor, but I'm telling you, you need to be really careful with that word, because the consequences are anything but minor. The term misdemeanor can be dangerously misleading in this situation.
So here's the official language. A violation isn't just about making contact. It's legally called contempt of court. And a good way to think about that is, a judge gave a direct command to stay away to prevent more harm. So if you violate it, you're not just breaking a rule, you're defying the court's authority. And for the prosecution, those two key words are knowingly and intentionally. They have to prove that you knew the order was in place and that you deliberately chose to ignore it.
And this really drives home why we call it a serious misdemeanor. I mean, a conviction could mean up to a full year in county jail, serious fines, and a long probation period with mandatory classes. But check out that last point. A violation can actually make the judge extend the protective order for even longer. So it's a charge that can literally make its own consequences worse.
So now that we've got the charge defined, let's talk about what specific actions actually count as a violation. And you might be surprised by just how broad the definition is.
This is the million-dollar question, right? What specific behaviors can actually get you arrested? And it's so important to understand that we're not always talking about some big, dramatic confrontation.
Yeah, look at how simple some of these are. A single text message, one email, even just asking a mutual friend, hey, can you pass along a message for me? All of these are clear violations. The court order is a total ban on all contact, and that means direct contact and indirect contact. And of course, physically showing up somewhere you're not supposed to be, like their home or work, well, that's an immediate arrest.
But this brings us to the most dangerous trap of all. It's the one question that trips up so many people. What if the person who has the order against you is the one who reaches out? They call you, they text, they ask you to meet up. What do you do then?
The answer is completely 100% absolute. If you respond in any way, you are violating the order. See, the order is a one-way street. It restricts your behavior, not theirs. It doesn't matter if they contact you 100 times. A single reply from you, one text back, one call back, breaks the court's command, and it's all the police need to arrest you. The responsibility to obey the order is on you and only you.
Okay, so let's shift gears. Let's say a violation happened and an arrest has been made. What happens in those first few hours? We're going to walk through that post-arrest process step by step, right from the moment a person is taken into custody.
So the process kicks off with booking. This is where they take fingerprints and photos, and the arrest becomes an official record. Next up, bail gets set. Now, this isn't a random number. It's based on a standard bail schedule for that specific charge in that county. You can think of it like the default price tag for getting out of jail before your court date. After that, you're pretty much waiting in custody until you can post that bail or you see a judge for the first time at your arraignment.
Now, while that bail amount starts at a standard level, a judge can absolutely change it. So how do they decide? Well, they look at these key factors. A first-time violation is seen very differently than if you've done this before. The details of the contact matter a lot. Was it just one text message, or was it a threatening visit? Any hint of violence or a past criminal record is almost guaranteed to make that bail amount shoot way up.
So, once that bail amount is set, the mission is crystal clear. Get released from custody. There are basically two ways to do this, and it's a pretty big financial decision to make.
Okay, so on one side, you have the option to pay the full bail amount in cash directly to the court. Now, it's usually a huge amount of money, but if you make all your court dates, you get all of it back when the case is over. On the other side, you can use a bail bond agent. This is how most people do it. You pay them a much smaller fee, usually a percentage of the total bail, and they post the full amount for you. But remember, that fee you pay the agent is non-refundable. That's their payment for taking the risk. You don't get that back.
And let's be really clear about something. Getting out of jail quickly isn't some kind of luxury. It's an absolute necessity.
Every single day you spend in jail is a day you could lose your job, a day you're not there for your family, and a day you can't properly work with your lawyer to prepare your defense. Getting out means you get to fight your case from a position of stability, not from behind bars.
So release is secured. That's a huge step, a huge relief. But the legal battle, it's really just getting started. So what happens now, in that time between getting out and your first court date?
Well, this is when you and your lawyer really start to dig in and build a defense. And there are some common angles to explore. For instance, did the person actually know the protective order was officially active? Was the contact a complete accident and not intentional at all? Or maybe the accusation is just flat out false? These are the kinds of questions and potential defenses an attorney is going to start looking into right away.
And all of this brings us to one final crucial thought. A protective order is not a request, it's not a suggestion, it is an absolute command from a judge. And as we've seen, the consequences for even a tiny violation are incredibly severe and can change your life. So we'll leave you with this question. Knowing everything that's on the line, is any kind of contact for any reason at all really worth that risk?